I've been teaching beginner artists for over 6 years now, and here are a couple lessons that can save you tons of pain and heartache that I actually had to learn the hard way. The first lesson is that you can actually work too hard at art. I know that this is very counterintuitive to what our culture teaches us. Our culture teaches us that if you're not improving, if you're not as good as you could be, it's because you're not working hard enough. But I think this is completely wrong. In my early and mid 20s, I was working very hard at improving at art to the point where I was more focused on improving rather than just enjoying the practice. Working harder isn't always the solution. Many times you actually need to lean deeper into your own personal curiosity instead of focusing on improvement. A lot of beginner art students get led astray because they get so focused on being perfect and getting the perfect drawing schedule, getting the most efficient learning methods. And they consume all these tutorials online about the best way to approach art to the point where they lose connection with why they started to draw to begin with, and then they lose inspiration and just burn out. You see this online all the time where all these artists are trying to learn how to draw like Kim Jong-il or other masters, and they try to force themselves into this bucket that they actually don't fit into, and then they burn out over and over again. They'll draw for maybe a couple of months trying to force it, but then they'll lose connection with the drawing practice. So you can actually work too hard. And if you are someone who really wants to improve, if there's a deep desire within you to get good at drawing, I want you to be mindful of that desire and not lean into it too hard. Be careful of what that voice tells you. Remember that yes, sitting down to draw, having some discipline to sit at the table and draw is important. But don't let it start to consume the entire practice. Don't start tracking how many head drawings you're doing every day. Don't get too uptight about it. Leave room for experimentation and play. Think about all the things that you've learned in your life through playfulness. Think about all the things that you learned as a child just because you were playing around having fun. A lot of the skills that you have within you just come from this playful place. A lot of the skills that your friends value within you, a lot of the personality that people value within you came from a playful place. Maybe you're someone who's just naturally funny. Maybe you're someone who's just naturally good at cooking. Many of these skills, if you really pay attention, you really think about yourself, a lot of those skills didn't come from this trying hard. They came from this playing around. They came from this place where you were curious about something, you were experimenting and leaving room for play, and then you just got better naturally because you allowed room for your intuition to learn things. You let your intuition just absorb lessons in a fun and playful way. One of the problems with trying very hard is that it's an inefficient way of working. This is why I talk so much about having fun with drawing. The reason why I added the joy of drawing section to all my courses is because having joy in the practice, having curiosity in the practice is actually the most efficient way to improve. We don't measure the efficiency of a car based on how fast it goes. We measure the efficiency based on how much fuel it takes to go a certain distance. The same thing is true for human beings. If you're expending all this fuel and not really getting anywhere, that's not being efficient. But if you are someone who's getting joy out of the practice, if you are someone who's curious and playful, and you get a lot out of the art practice because the art practice in itself is energizing, that's very efficient, even if you don't make massive improvement in the short term. One thing that you want to keep in mind here, one thing that helps me a ton here, is remembering that you have the rest of your life to draw. You do not need to get good at drawing today. You do not need to get good at drawing today. You don't need to get good at drawing this year. You have all of the rest of your life to get good at drawing. So you might as well learn how to enjoy it now. You might as well just spend the time to have fun with it, to be playful with it, because you have the rest of your life. Even if you are someone who's crunched for time, you have at least an hour per week that you can make space for drawing. Even if your schedule is full, if you're watching YouTube videos, you have space to draw. Start drawing right now. But imagine if you just drew an hour per week for the rest of your life. Do you really think that you can not improve in that time? Let's be honest with ourselves. Do you really think you can spend all that time drawing and not improve? Of course you'll improve. You couldn't stop yourself from improving if you actually enjoyed the practice. If you found a way to enjoy your drawing practice an hour per week for the rest of your life, you will 100% learn how to draw better. That will just happen naturally because your intuition will kick in, your playfulness will make you draw more, you'll feel energized every time you sit down to draw, and over time you will probably draw more because it becomes more pleasurable the more you lean into curiosity and play, and you will just improve naturally. So let go of your desire to improve quickly. Wanting to improve is completely natural. You don't need to let go of that completely, but let go of the short deadline. Extend it out into the future, the rest of your life, 10, 20 years, whatever amount of time you have left, just push it all the way back there. And then just enjoy the art practice. Because if you try too hard to improve quickly, it will backfire. You will burn out. You won't improve as fast as you could. And you will just lose track of why you started to begin with, which will just make the whole practice pointless. If you're not enjoying the practice, if you're not finding yourself in the practice, if you're not discovering things about yourself, then it's pretty much pointless. So make sure to stay in alignment with that through joy and curiosity. The second lesson is that you can't outrun perfectionism. If you are someone who has very high expectations of yourself, if you are someone who has a deeply critical inner voice, you can't just improve your drawing until that voice goes away. Unfortunately, dealing with this voice is a skill in itself, and it's separate from your drawing practice. Yes, you can improve your drawings. Yes, you can get better at drawing. But if your expectations are high already, those expectations will just grow with you. If it takes you 4 years to get good at drawing, guess what? In year number 3, that critical voice will probably be louder. It'll probably say, hey, you've been drawing for 3 years already. Why aren't you better? Those expectations will just grow because that inner voice isn't based on logic. That inner voice is based on feelings. They're based on external voices that you have internalized, that aren't even yours. A lot of times if you listen to that inner critical voice, like if you just pay attention to that right now, listen to that voice, you can probably bring that voice into your mind immediately right now. Think about your art for 2 seconds and that critical voice might just jump in. Listen to that voice for a second, just listen to it. And what does that voice sound like? Does that voice really sound like you? Because a lot of times that voice sounds like a teacher or a parent or a family member or like a model, like a combination of all the people that have been mean to you in your life. A lot of times that voice isn't even yours. So just improving your drawing skills is not going to fix that. And this is something that I tried for the longest time. I thought I could just get better at drawing and that voice will go away. But that is a lie. It is not a skill issue, right? It's not about your drawing skills. But grappling with that inner voice is something that you can do from the beginning. Even if you are a beginner artist who's doing drawings that you think are just horrendous, compared to your inspirations, your drawings are not that great. You can think they're horrible and still enjoy them. It's very possible as a beginner artist to do drawings that are done poorly and enjoy them to the 10th degree. Like you can get all the joy and pleasure out of drawing that a master gets out of drawing from the beginning. You do not need to wait until you develop your skills to have that amount of joy and pleasure from the drawing practice. And the way to deal with that inner voice is to actually deal with it head on. Instead of trying to develop the skills and then hope that this gets fixed, we just examine that inner voice. I have a longer free lesson about perfectionism that will be linked below where I talk a little bit about this issue of trying to grapple with perfectionism, but you can just deal with it head on by writing out your expectations, journaling about it, paying close attention to what that voice sounds like who in your life sounds like that. Is it actually your voice? And then really start to grapple with why that voice came to be to begin with. What is it trying to tell you? Sometimes those high expectations and that inner critical voice is trying to protect you. Like if you are someone who had a critical parent, you absorb that voice so that you can protect yourself emotionally. If I absorb this voice, I can predict what other people might say, and then I can protect myself by already thinking it myself. But can you see how this becomes a trap? If you're always thinking the worst possible outcome when you're sitting down to do anything, right? So this inner critical voice isn't just within drawing, it's with you all the time. If you're always thinking about the worst comments possible externally, do you really think that you will feel energized to sit down and draw? Probably not. This is why in the beginning of my inner artist course, I talk about expectations and perfectionism. We go through these types of exercises because I know that a lot of you, a lot of beginner artists, a lot of artists in general just have these critical voices that prevent them from being fully themselves in their art practice. It prevents them from being as creative as they can be because they're protecting themselves. To a certain degree, being creative requires vulnerability to yourself. Even if you keep your art practice to yourself and don't share with anyone else, it still requires quite a bit of vulnerability just to be yourself in the practice. You actually just be with yourself because you're always modeling what your culture has taught you, what your family has taught you. All of these things you carry with you into the practice. So just to sit down and draw and be yourself actually requires quite a bit of vulnerability. And there are a lot of skills around this that you can develop directly without getting better at drawing. It is such a lie that you need to get good at drawing to enjoy drawing. You can enjoy it from the beginning. You have to watch kids draw. A lot of times when like, if you see kids draw, they enjoy drawing more than a lot of masters. You know, you just see that they like love it. They're curious about it. They try different things. That is the energy that we want to capture. And a lot of times that perfectionistic tendency, those high expectations, that critical voice, the nasty critical voice is just getting in the way. It's unnecessary. We can shed it. Like, who cares if your drawings aren't perfect? Who cares if your drawings aren't the most beautiful thing in the history of humanity? It doesn't matter. Let go of those voices, grapple with them, write them out, really sit and spend time with it. It's going to take some time to move forward from here. Like, obviously, if you are someone who has a deeply intense perfectionism, it can be difficult to overcome, but it's worth pursuing directly. Instead of just trying to get better at drawing, do the two together. It's one of the big opportunities within drawing. It's one of my favorite things to teach students is that you can actually just deal with your perfectionism through drawing. And then when you deal with those expectations within drawing, you can actually let go of those expectations in all aspects of life. The more you deal with that critical voice internally, the easier all of your life will become. And that is one of the beautiful things about being an artist. Lesson number 3 is that chasing external validation is fleeting. So many of us, myself included, chase external validation. Even if it's not explicitly, we do it implicitly. How many of you know which art styles are more popular online? How many of you have a mental model of what would work in the art world? So many of us take that stuff so seriously and then end up chasing that path. We are so aware of the opportunity that is online. So many of you might think that, like, if I get good at drawing, then there's all this financial opportunity. If I become a great artist, then I get to be creatively free and people will buy my prints and all this other stuff. Even as a beginner artist, you probably already have some inclinations there. Or maybe you just want approval from a partner. Maybe you want approval from your family or friends. Like, maybe you want to impress people. You're like, look at this. This is what I did over the weekend. And you want that, like, that tasty compliments. You want that, like, ooh, give me that approval. But take a moment right now and ask yourself, how did you feel the last time you got a compliment? Just take a moment right now. And if you are about to say that you didn't get a compliment ever in your life, I'm going to call you out on it, because that's probably not true. What probably happened is the last time you got a compliment, you probably came up with an excuse for why that compliment wasn't true. You're like, oh, thanks. But inside you're like, yeah, that person's just being nice. They're just saying that to get on my good side. So even when you do get that external validation in other aspects of life, you probably push it away. You probably don't even let it land fully. Yet at the same time, you crave that validation. You chase it. You go after it. You're like, oh, I want that validation, but when it comes, I'm going to push it away. Like, there's this like strange dance that happens, and you can just let go of all of that. You do not need to chase external validation, especially as a beginner artist. If you are a beginner artist, just try to find pleasure in the drawing practice here and now, and let go of a lot of the external validators. One thing that I recommend a lot of my students do is just stay off social media for a while. Don't post your work online. Now, I understand there's a lot of temptation there. That is completely natural, right? Like, a lot of what I'm talking about here is stuff that I went through myself. I wish I could go back to when I first started drawing and just kept my work off the internet, because it's so easy to start chasing likes. It's so easy to just trick yourself into believing that, like, oh, I'm just following my creative voice, even though I'm suddenly switching paths. I'm switching paths because I did this experiment once. I did this one sketch and people seem to like it online, so now I'm going to pivot towards that. Like, how often has that happened? Or maybe you got a compliment on a specific thing about your art, and now suddenly you're just trying to recreate that exact same drawing. Like, there's so many ways that we fall into this trap, because it's a very natural human desire. You do not need to feel shame around this. You do not need to judge yourself for having this desire, because it's completely natural. Everyone has it, but let's handle it in a healthy way. Ultimately, what we want is creative alignment. You want alignment with the muse. You want alignment with your creative voice, and that won't come from chasing what is popular online. Like, if I made a video about the most popular art styles that get likes online versus creative alignment, like if I make a video about creative alignment, the video where I'm talking about the most popular art styles or whatever will get way more views, even though it's going to be a very narrow sliver of what the art practice has to offer. I've seen videos like this online where people talk about the most popular art styles and all this stuff, which I find is really funny because a lot of times these artists have a very narrow taste. There's like, oh, they make art almost for other artists. Like that is what it feels like. A lot of times artists get into this trap where they're trying so desperately to get approval from other artists that they chase what other artists like instead of just being in alignment with what they like. One thing that I recommend you do is go to an art fair, go into the world and see the art that people actually appreciate. And what you will find out really quickly is that there is no one taste. Everyone has different tastes. You will have friends who like horror, dark art, and then you have friends who like cute chibi art, and then you have friends who like landscape pieces, and then you have friends who like abstract stuff. So chasing external approval and like changing yourself for a perceived notion of what external validation looks like is completely pointless, because people like all kinds of art, and that includes your bad beginner drawings, right? If you don't believe me, send me your art. Trust me, I will like it. Now, obviously, then you're chasing external approval and getting into this trap. But for a moment, just imagine that you like your art. Pull out your sketchbook right now and ask yourself, in what ways does this feel good to me? In what ways does this feel honest to my creative voice? Really just take a moment and try to give yourself a compliment. Even if it's a very small compliment, even if it's just, I like this one line. That's still a start, right? So grab your sketchbook right now, go look at your latest drawing and ask yourself, what do I enjoy about this? Do I feel good about this? How can I find something that I like in this? And keep doing that over and over again and give yourself the validation that you're looking for. You can fully give yourself the validation you're looking for because you can already imagine the external validation in your mind, which means that you could actually just give that to yourself because it's just your internal voice anyways. And in the end of the day, it's just your internal voice that matters. Even if you get an external compliment that feels good, to really let that be part of you, you have to make it part of your own internal voice. So just do that to yourself right now. Just give yourself a compliment of your work. I know that can be very difficult if you are a beginner artist, but find a small thing that you like in your work. Just look for it right now. Take a second. Just do that right away. Now, if you are a beginner artist who wants to improve your art, check out my 54 free drawing exercises. And also check out this video right here where I talk about the 5 different ways to build an art habit. I think that falling in love with the practice and finding ways to get addicted to drawing in a sustainable way is ultimately a thing that will help you improve rapidly. Check out the video right here. It's also linked below on the 5 methods to get addicted to drawing. See you in the next video.